Hi, I'm Alison from Simply Perfect Gardens and a member of the Native Plant Society and the Benicia Tree Foundation. You've probably heard all about this native garden. However, it's split into two distinct gardens. The lower garden that you can see from the parking lot is basically a homeowner's model of California native plants that you can use, and they're separated into different areas. There's a sensory area, there's a butterfly area, there's a Native American area, a meadow area, riparian, and then the upper part of the slope is all split into different bioregions for Solano County. So, for example, there's a grasslands area over there, there's a chaparral area, as well as a valley oak woodland, and each of the plants in this upper portion are native to Solano County. The ones in the lower area are just California natives, native and hybrids for all of California. Some of these plants are really exciting. I get really excited about these plants, so you may have to slow me down. This is a gooseberry, and actually it's a currant. You can tell it's a currant. It's ribes aureum, and yes, they're edible. And this is a currant because it has no thorns on it. There are gooseberries, and they look the same except they have thorns. This is a California native, well, they all are, Ceanothus, and you can see it's got berries on it. The berries are edible but not yummy, so natives used them in food. We don't. It's a buckeye. You see them a lot around town. They make a lovely street tree. The minor drawback is if they don't get summer water, they lose their leaves in the summer. California native plants tend to do that because we have such a hot, dry environment that if they go dormant early, they can start their leafing out when there's water in the early spring or even late winter. So this is one of the first plants to leaf out in the spring and one of the first to go dormant in the winter. In the winter, the bark is a beautiful white, and if you have it against a dark background, it's just stunning. California poppies, they do great here.
It's our state flower.
It is our state flower, very easy to grow. They're called poppies because when the seed pods, this is a seed pod right here, when it matures, it tends to get straw colored, and if you just do this along it, pops right open and throws seeds out. You get hundreds of seeds per pod, and they're relatively inexpensive and easy to sow. It's a blue oak. We have a lot of blue oaks in our hills. They are deciduous. It's hard to tell this time of year, but once these leaves are mature, they really do have a bluish-green cast to them. And they really give a distinctive color. If you take Highway 680 from here to Fairfield, you'll see a number of them up on the hills. That's a Sambucus. It's elderberry. Now, be very, very careful. Most of the Sambucus is poisonous, and it was actually used, I think with buckeye also, to stupefy fish. The Native Americans used to throw it into the water to make the fish lose consciousness, and they could just scoop them up. This is a soap plant, another one that was used a lot by the local natives. It has a root that's almost like a brûlot pad. It's a bulb-like structure, and they would dig them up and use them for scouring. And actually, it does have a little bit of a bubble to it too. So if you're ever stuck without proper cleaning supplies, you may want to try it or not. Gray pine, Pinus sabbatica, is native to our region. Higher elevations, however, you'll see it just around the snow line on Mount Diablo, Jackson. There's this cutoff. If you go through Jackson, California, boy, you can really see where all of a sudden there's a lot of silver on the hills, and that's it. It's called a western redbud. It loves hot, dry locations. Southwest facing hillsides, and you can see this from a mile away. If you're hiking up in even the Rock Park in Fairfield area, there are some rocky southwest facing slopes where you'll find this. But even further north, up near Lake Berryessa, you see a whole lot of them. They do really well in neglected, rocky soils. For Benicia, this is just a great tree for those cut hillsides. This is a Fremontodendron, and we have a number of them around town. One of them is right on Highway 780 at the Southampton entrance, and it's actually the West 7th entrance, but that's it. It's just gorgeous. It's very difficult to find a good location for this because it thrives, nay, demands neglect. It does not want summer water. It does not want you to prune it. It actually has these horrid little stellate hairs on the leaf that they make it look like flannel. Its common name is flannel bush, but if you get it on your skin on a hot day, it just burns. If you get it in your eye, you're going to have some discomfort for quite a while. It even will bother your lungs if you're working with it. So be very careful with it. It does have a tendency to be just covered with these yellow blooms, and then after the blooms have faded, they turn to this little dark brown color. So for about a month after it's bloomed, you have this golden hue to it. Some people like it, some people don't. So this is deer grass, and right next to monkey flower. We'll do both. This is deer grass. This is a really nice architectural element in a garden, grows easily in a garden situation as long as you give it plenty of space. You can cut it back in the spring so that these are in the winter so that these go away and all the new green growth looks less dramatic. It gives it a tidier look. But it's real easy to grow and work with. And this is a California monkey flower. I was told that they're called a monkey flower because if you look at the flower, it looks like a big screaming monkey's face. There are a lot of varieties of this, not varieties, hybrids. This is one of the hybrids. They go everywhere from a bright yellow to a dark red and all the shades in between. When I was young, I was a hiker. I'm still a hiker. Yesterday I went out hiking, and one of the nicest things was to be able to walk for 12 miles and see plants that I knew well, partially because I've studied them, but partially because of native plant collections like this. And I think that it's really a great way for people in an area, especially kids, to get a sense of place, to see native plants all together. I like to garden with them because they are native to the area. They take a lot less babying. You don't have to water them as much, especially the ones that we pointed out here today. All of the ones that we talked about are drought hardy. They're not just drought tolerant. And that's really important to be able, especially if you have a good chunk of property, to allow yourself space where you don't have to water for an extended period of time. So I think it's really important for everybody to understand which ones are native, which ones aren't, and really enjoy what comes with the territory and mix it in with what comes with your family history.